So I wanted to take time and share something that's happened in my life recently that I learned a valuable lesson from in being a Christian. And every Christian will tell you, or most will, that if the enemy is knocking on your doorstep, they'll tell you, trust in God. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. And all of that is fine and good because it's true. But we as the church have kind of made that cliche because we use it so much, but do we honestly believe it? And I was one of those people who was like, I would tell anybody, trust in the Lord, He's got your back. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. And then something happened to me and my family about a week ago that just stopped me in my tracks to where I didn't realize who I was as a person, who I was in God. Something that completely had the potential to destroy my life, destroy my wife's life, leave a bad legacy for my children. So listen to this before you waltz up to people and start saying, trust in God, because odds are, if you're saying that, you're one of two people. One, you've been through the storm and you know that God has your back, you know that God will take care of you, or you're a person who has never been faced with a true storm and you're just saying it because it sounds good for that person to hear. So listen to this story, and I'm going to show you what God revealed to me, and we'll go from there. So, to start the story off, a little backstory. I have 3 Google accounts, okay? Gmail accounts. One is for the media department here at Covenant Church. One is for me personally, and another was made for an iCloud account for me personally and my wife to use, basically for Apple Music and things of that nature. So I'm sitting at home about a week ago, minding my own business, and noticed that I'm getting security alerts in my emails, one after another, different emails. It's happening so fast that I can't wrap my head around, okay, I need to stop this. Mind you, I am the media guy here at Covenant Church. I am the IT guy. I know how to stop this mild type of hacking. That's why these places like Google and Apple, and places that you keep encrypted information, financial information, they have a 2-factor system to where they can authenticate who you are, or if somebody is trying to bust in. Before I knew it, this person was in. I could not wrap my head around it. So that's just emails, There's nothing I'm trying to hide. There's nothing in there that's encrypting or anything like that. I'm not that stupid. But remember when I said that the third and final email was for my iCloud account? My iCloud account has everything on the cloud. It has my contact information. It has all of my contacts in my phone. It has payment information. It has photographs of my family. It has, just personal things. Nothing that would cause, a bad reflection on myself. Just things I hold dear, things I hold personal. Well, before an hour was up, I noticed weird phone calls coming to my phone, unknown numbers, blocked numbers, FaceTime requests from international numbers. I tell my wife this is bad. We need to, not freak the kids out. Let's put them in the room, let them watch a cartoon or something, and let's begin to pray, because this is about to get really, really bad. Well, I notice next, as we're praying, I'm getting text messages from an iCloud account, not a number, but an account, that says, "I'm going to ruin your life." And I have all of your pictures, all of your contact information from your phone. I own you. And folks, when I saw that, I died a little on the inside. We're praying, and I'm saying, God, bind the hand of the enemy. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. All of these things. And this guy continues to text, try to call. He's sending me pictures that are on my phone saying, if you don't believe me, I have you. I want X amount of dollars, or I'm going to blackmail you. Well, I'm already seeing red at this point, because there's pictures of my children and things of that nature on my phone, and I do not like somebody I do not know having pictures of my children. It makes me crazy. And so I'm already upset. But when he said, "I am going to blackmail you," I knew I had nothing to hide. So I'm trying to contact people I know, people on my team here at church that are extremely, extremely tech savvy, trying to figure this out. I call the pastors of the church, having them pray. They therefore contact our elders board, tell them this is what's happening. We need to pray. And I relay to my pastors, listen, I don't know what he's going to try to blackmail me with, but the last thing I want is for the name of this church to go down for something that I didn't do. And I want to make sure this church stays safe. They can tear me down all they want to, but I want to make sure this church stays safe. So back to the story, it comes to my realization that this guy is fabricating a video of a web chat situation that is very inappropriate, that he has been recording my camera. That's why he's trying to FaceTime me, and recording my camera and putting it as if I'm having a conversation with a young lady and we are talking about inappropriate acts. At this point, my heart drops, because, being a minister, being a part of full-time ministry, it's just one of the biggest things that you're seeing nowadays is pastors having moral failures. And it's just, it absolutely sunk my heart to the point where I could not function. I'm an IT guy. I can stop a majority of this from happening. But I was so consumed in the situation that I couldn't tell you how to turn a computer on, how to turn, I could not turn my phone off. I was like, this guy he's in my phone. He's trying to record us. He's probably hearing everything we're saying. And I was shaking so bad, and my mind was so gone that I could not turn my phone off. And it was bad. So senior pastors of our church come to my house, pray the whole time we're trying to deal with this situation. And they hadn't been there for a long time. And my pastor said, you have two options. You have to go to your cellular store and change your number so this will stop, and you have to call the police. I've been hacked before, guys, and I've never been hacked so bad that I had to go to the police. But The texts were still coming in. He was trying to post this video on YouTube, and I had the wherewithal at the time when he did post the fake video to YouTube that I flagged it, and YouTube thankfully took it down within a matter of an hour. Nobody saw it. He tried to post that YouTube link to my Facebook. I got to delete my Facebook really quick. So as smart as he was, when I began to regain my thoughts, I began to really battle the enemy with one of the giftings God has given me, and that's the knowledge of technology. And I felt every click of the mouse, every type of a key, that I knew that I was defeating the enemy. That heaviness began to raise, and so we're at the house, and the pastors are there, and he tells me, this is what I would do. These are the two options. Trusting pastors that know you're not at fault, that have discernment in the situation. I could not have done this and got through this, and me and my wife could not have gotten through this without our senior pastors. And they called our elder board, which are some people who can touch heaven. And the moment that he texted the thread of the elder board on his phone, he said, "The elders are praying." That was the last time. The last text I got after that from the hacker was the last text I would see from the hacker. The power of prayer. You grow up in church, you see all these things, but you realize that prayer can change things, and you hear that prayer can change things. And until it knocks on your doorstep to where you really need some intercessory prayer, you don't appreciate it. You just don't. You see, and that's why we have to live like this all the time. I don't want the result of me going through this giving God way more praise than I ever did, giving God way more adoration than I ever did, trying to build a closer relationship with God. I don't want that to be because I went through a struggle and he pulled me out of it, and then 2 weeks later I forget about it. That's not what I want this to be. I want this to be my testimony that God can pull you out of anything that you're going through. So to finish my story, the elders prayed. The last text that I got from the hacker was a life threat. He said, "I will be at your house in 24 hours. I have your address," and he puts it down in the text, sends it to me and my wife, and said, "I will be at your house in 24 hours. At this point, I don't believe a word that he says. I'm starting to feel that holy boldness in me. And, I feel that prayer working in me, and I know it's working in my wife at that time. And, man, what a feeling it was to feel that you can literally feel the enemy's grip loosening because of the power of the saints of God that are praying on your behalf. So we go to our local cell phone store, get my cell phone number changed. I do a hard reset of my phone just to make sure. It makes me feel better. I probably didn't have to do that. He contacted nobody else. All of this fake blackmailing evidence has been deleted and never saw again. I have recovered 2 of the 3 email accounts, and one of them being the church's account, which I am more relieved about than anything. He touched nothing in my emails, changed a few passwords just to try to upset me, but nothing I couldn't handle after I got my emails back on track. So, after that, after you go through a situation like that, you feel like, God fighting on your behalf. You feel indestructible. And I remember me and my wife got into bed that night, and it's something that we're trying to do all the time, and I know we haven't been good at. Let's just pray together. And I remember praying that night. I said, whoever this person is, man, woman, Lord, you know who they are. And I want your conviction to come down in whatever room they're in right now and just grab a hold of them, and you reveal yourself to them in the most mightiest of ways. Because in that moment, I didn't want my heart to be revenge. I didn't want it to be anger. I wanted it to be mercy. It's probably one of the most times I've wanted and felt like I was Christ-like for a few seconds. Was I wanted to show this person mercy. Granted, I had to get the authorities involved, but that's protection of my family. These guys are usually stealthy enough to where, he or she has probably moved on to the next person. And, in my prayer that night, after I prayed for conviction to fall upon this hacker, I prayed for whoever else is going through this situation, whoever else this person is putting through the same thing that I had done over money, because this hacker does not want to go out and use their God-given talents to get a real job and use that talent for the good of the world. Instead, they refuse to sit in a dark room in front of a computer monitor and rip people off because they don't want to do anything else better with their life, and they like feeling like they're in control. And that's a spirit. That is such a spirit, and it's actually part of the Jezebel spirit, and it's rampant right now. In churches, out of churches, it's just rampant. And the craziest thing about this story, and I'm wrapping this up, is this all happened on a Friday. On Saturday and on Sunday, we had a big-time guest coming to our church. Jeremiah Johnson. He's a prophet, mostly known throughout America and other parts of the world. He's a young guy, but he is a true prophet in this time. And man, I felt like I got so much from those services, being able to talk to Jeremiah and be able to hear what word he gave our church. And I know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that the enemy targeted me in what I do for this church to try to keep me away or stop me from paying attention to the word that was given to my church, the words that were given to me in those 2 days. Because when you're closest to a breakthrough, and when you're closest to going to a new level, you will be fought. Bank on it. And it's going to be some heavy fighting. The enemy is going to try to take you down, because the enemy knows when you get to that next level that you're unstoppable. Until he can try to figure out another way to stop you, you are unstoppable because you have God on your side. So, to everyone who either cliches people to death when they're going through hard times, or if you've really been through the battle and you have the scars and you know what you're talking about, always seek that new revelation for yourself that God really is in control, and that if you are His, He will fight for you. If you are His, no weapon formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that rises against you will be shut up. Know that if you are His, that it's better for a millstone to be tied around the person's neck that is accusing you than to touch you, according to the Bible. Know that He will fight for you every day, 24/7. Even when you sleep, He fights for you. He fights for your mind. So just know, stay true to the Lord. Worship the Lord. Give Him praise. Give Him adoration for what He's done, what He's going to do in your life. And always remember that He has your back. Guys, my family is so much closer now. I made a pact with myself. And again, I didn't want this to be hype, and I'm still maintaining this. I wanted my family to grow closer. I want to pray with my kids every day. I want to pray with my wife every day. I want us to be closer than we've ever been. And we have been. But I want you to know this. This is not just a fad for me, and it shouldn't be a fad for you. If you went through a storm and God has helped you, you shouldn't just give him praise for 2 days and then go back to your old ways. In that midst of the struggle and in all those trying times, God allowed me to have things broken off of my life. It's the oddest thing that I've ever felt, because it's a fight, it's a test of the enemy, but also God was healing things in my life. He was breaking things over my life, over my family's life, through this one situation that I thought the enemy just had me in the palm of his hands and he was controlling me. He controlled everything about me for a very short moment. One of my friend's fathers used to be a pastor, a friend of mine, and he used to always say, do not let the devil live in your mind without paying a rent. And it's funny, but it's so true. I remember the last thing I told my wife when we were cleaning everything up from this mess was, I will not live in fear over this, because we've not been given the spirit of fear. Don't let that be a cliche over you either. We have not been given the spirit of fear. We've not been given the spirit of confusion. Confusion is not of God. Fear is not of God. And we are not to live in it. God has your back. Whatever you're going through today, God has your back. It seems like the enemy has you in the palm of his hands and he owns you. Just like this person told me, I want to ruin your life and I will own you. The enemy does not have that power unless you give it to him. So if you're going through something today, I encourage you to pray. I know it's hard in these moments to clear your mind and just give it all to God. But if you give it all to God, sit back and watch him fight for you. It is the most amazing thing you will ever see. Things that you thought could not be torn down in a lifetime, he can tear down in a matter of a second. So today I encourage you, whatever you're going through, know that I'll be praying for you. Know that I will be lifting you up. I've been there. I want to be there for people who are going through it. Not just my specific situation, but through anything. I want to be there. So I'm going to say special prayers over the people watching this video. God, it's not a weak statement and it's not a little statement. It's just a simple statement, but it's true. God will fight for you. It's not a cliche, it's the real deal. God knows who you are. He knows everything about you. He made you, and he will protect you if you allow him to. So I hope everybody has a good day, and I hope this story has done something to you. Maybe you've went through the same situation, or maybe you're just going through something trying in general. Know that God will always fight your battles. Pray, give him praise, give him worship, and watch the enemy flee.